And we are live. Welcome into the Arena Gaming News Morning Show for Wednesday, November 9th, 2022. I'm your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. Burley, how you doing?
Doing good. How are you, man?
I'm doing good, man. I'm doing good. And to all of you out there, happy God of War Ragnarok launch day. So for all of you that are going to be playing God of War Ragnarok from today, I hope you enjoy it. I'm looking forward to playing it myself as well. I have it downloaded and everything on the PS5. And of course, Burley, he's still waiting for his Amazon shipment.
Yeah, I got the collector's edition. But the good news is arriving at my parents' house today, the controller arrives.
Oh, nice.
So
that's good. Yeah.
You know what? Like, Best Buy did do well on that. Like, I got Amazon, I was able to get the collector's edition. Best Buy, I got the controller. And Best Buy, they shipped it ahead of time, but the problem is they used Canada Post. Canada Post sucks. Anyone that's a Canadian that's used Canada Post, you know exactly what I mean.
Yeah. So let me just throw some speculation out there, or just brainstorm what you think is going to happen with God of War Ragnarok when it comes to the sales. Which is going to sell better, the physical edition or the digital edition, Burley?
I think digital. The reason is like the collector's edition. In my case, all the collector's editions are all digital codes because they don't want to make a disc version and a digital edition. Yeah. But also, people are less likely wanting to go to stores. That's how it is for me. Like, I hate having to go to a store, pre-order at a store, walk down, get the disc, and install. It's not like the PS1, PS2 era where you plop the disc, you're ready to go and play.
Right.
You know, then do that, the day one patch. So people want to preload, and you can have things preloaded. And for like content creators like ourselves, it's nice to be able to download, have it all installed already, so that way when the day comes, you can just turn on the console and play.
Yeah, well, I mean, before this generation, you really didn't have a choice in a sense. I mean, you know what? Well, you did. I mean, with digital downloads and all in the PS4 era and everything, but you didn't have a digital only edition of the console. So now that you have that option, which that's the version that I have for the PS5, the digital edition. I mean, basically, everybody's going to be buying games digitally now. So, you know, and it's a cheaper option when it comes to the PS5. So, in my case, I think, probably, I think you're right. I think the digital edition of God of War Ragnarok is probably going to sell more. But it'll be interesting to see how it does in its first week. Looking forward to seeing the numbers. Yeah.
You picked it up digitally, didn't you?
Yes. Yeah, of course. I have the. I can't buy the. If I buy it, edition. Yeah, but if I would have to get it for the PS4 if I were gonna get the physical copy.
Come on,
because I have a PS4 Pro. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, the Jet Engine. Yeah, the Jet Engine Edition. That's what we should start calling it. The Jet Engine Edition. You have the PS5 version. You have the PS4 Jet Engine Edition. So, but PS4 Pro. But PS5 digital edition for me. So. All right, so we got a great show for you. We're going to be talking about Halo Infinite again. The developer promises, shorter, seasons when it comes to the multiplayer. We're going to talk about that later. Square Enix, Sega, Konami, they're having to change their strategies. And we're going to talk about that tonight. There was an interesting article from Axios. We're going to talk about that. And then our topic of the show, we're going to talk about Overwatch 2. Overwatch 2 had a rocky launch, but it's off to a strong start. We're going to talk about that more. But our first story, and we're going to get to that right now, Burley, and it's going to be our topic for tomorrow's morning edition, because today we have an Indie World Showcase. Roughly 25 minutes of upcoming indie games for Switch. And the image here, it says 9/11/2022, but that is the way. I don't know if you guys in Canada do that, but in the UK, that is the way they read the calendar, which of course, in the United States and here in Japan, we go November 9th. not the
Yeah,
9th
yeah.
of
We
November.
we follow the U.S.
Okay, so yeah,
Canada.
so yeah, it is today, November 9th, and of course, yeah, it's going to be at 9 a.m. Pacific time and 12 p.m. Eastern time. So in the next few hours, we're going to get this Indie World Showcase, and we're going to be discussing it on tomorrow's morning show and showing you some of the stuff that they announce. So yeah, it's going to be roughly 25 minutes of upcoming indie games, and of course, yeah, we're going to be covering it tomorrow. So Burley, what do you think we might get from this Indie World Showcase today?
See, this is the hard thing, because there are so many different indies, and once they've shown off, but it's like, are we gonna get, because like we had the big thing with Indie Showcase, I think it was last year, or it might have been early this year, Sea of Stars. That was originally supposed to come out, a game I kickstarted Canadian.
Yeah.
Do we get something on that? Do we get... There are so many different indies, but these I do like, because these are a variety.
Yeah.
You're like, they do I think a well job with the indies. It's just a matter of, is there going to be indies here that you're going to want to go day one buy? But I'm curious to see how many of these indies are Switch exclusives, because the funny thing is, you'll see them indie on Switch, but it's also on Steam and PlayStation and Xbox.
Right. Do you think we could see some indie titles that have already released that could be coming over to the Switch?
Oh yeah. I think that wouldn't surprise me. We still got games, big titles that have been coming to AAA, big AAA titles that have been out for a couple of years are now just coming to the Switch.
Yeah. And then, of course, Sonic Frontiers is coming to the Switch too, and the developers just this week were saying that it's going to run well on the Switch. So I know your feelings on that, but anyway, yeah, we shall see. It'll be fun to watch for like 25 minutes, and we will show you those games, and we'll probably do a little reaction to them tomorrow on the morning show. So we're looking forward to that. So stay tuned for that. So, do you think this will be the last one of the year, Burley? Do you think we'll get a Nintendo Direct in December?
I think we'll get a Nintendo Direct near the end, whether it be early December or end of November. I think we'll get one Direct left.
Okay.
Indie, I think this is the last Indie Showcase, because at this point in November, I think it's a good kind of cutoff point. To just wrap up, do the winter, and then come back in the next year.
Right, probably like in February or something like that. We'll get another one.
February, March.
Yeah. Alrighty. Okay, so yeah, we'll be bringing, of course, the news about that to you tomorrow on the morning show. So stay tuned for that, and we hope that you can come and watch it with us as we discuss it. So next up, we're going to talk some Halo Infinite again. Okay, so right after this, right after Burley flies the drone, so he's getting the controller ready. So right after this, so stay tuned, everybody. All right. So, Halo Infinite developer promises shorter seasons, regular content, and bigger things in 2023. So this is from GameSpot. So, yeah, bigger things, Burley. 343 admits Halo Infinite's launch, quote, certainly hasn't been the smoothest or quickest ride.
Yeah, no shit. Yeah, sorry, I tried to clean up my language, but like, they have they honestly looked at CD Projekt Red and said, "Oh, you guys screwed up launch. Hold my beer."
All right, Halo Infinite's launch didn't exactly go to plan, but developer 343 Industries is promising improvements in the time to come in terms of a content release cadence. And this begins with the game's biggest update ever, the Winter Update, which is out now. So all of you that are playing the Halo Infinite multiplayer, of course, the Winter Update is out. So in a blog post, 343 thanked fans for their support over the past year following the game's release, admitting that the studio knows the launch, quote, certainly hasn't been the smoothest or quickest ride. So it goes on, quote, the winter update marks a major step forward for our game and studio, but this is just the first step of that evolution, end quote. The team said, quote, the team is actively working on key player experience priorities across the game to address areas of feedback, and we are targeting another game update before the end of this year, end quote. In 2023, Halo Infinite will get another update, Season 3, Echoes Within, in March, and in general, fans can look forward to, quote, shorter seasons, a more regular stream of content, and bigger things to come, end quote, the studio said. So basically, Burley, that means they are trying to become Apex Legends. Because that's what Apex Legends does.
Yeah.
Shorter seasons, regular streams of content. Yeah. So
they criticized heavily on this for their seasons being so long, and not like, look at how slow they are on getting content out. We just now got normal EXP. Mm-hmm. Instead of doing their stupid challenges, that was the only way to get EXP. Mm-hmm. So look at how slow the rollout is on this. They can promise us all this and that until I see it coming. I don't take their word for anything, because they lied and said, "Oh, we're going to get co-op campaign." We're not going to do that. Yeah. They canceled that.
Yeah.
They keep changing stuff around. They're not being upfront and honest on a lot of this stuff early on. If they would have been, it would have been better. But they did it because they wanted to have the big launch and all that.
Yeah. So let me just finish up what it says here in the article. In terms of what the, quote, bigger things to come, end quote, might be, it's believed that certain Affinity is reportedly making an ambitious new mode for Halo Infinite to come sometime down the track. The Halo Infinite Winter Update adds a number of features and content, including Forge mode in beta, match-based XP, a new battle pass, more multiplayer maps, and campaign network co-op. Of course, couch co-op for the campaign was scrapped.
Yeah.
For them to work on all of this. There are also 24 new achievements in Halo Infinite delivered via the Winter Update. So, yeah.
Go ahead, I was going to say, I'd love to hear from either people who are in chat or people that are watching this afterwards in the comments. What do you think about their promises? Do you think they're going to keep to them?
Yeah.
And what is this for what they are saying? If you're not playing Infinite, is this enough to bring you back to go back to Infinite? We would love to hear from you on this.
Yeah, let us know in the comments. And I mean, like I said, and I said this the other day on the morning show when we were discussing the other Halo Infinite story. I mean, I have not played the multiplayer. I basically only played the campaign. So I can't really comment on, the multiplayer too much and how it runs or anything like that. So, but I'm sure there's a hell of a lot of people out there that are enjoying it and that are playing it. So,
I know there's people enjoying it. Like they keep always showing the Steam numbers because you can see that easier than the Xbox Live numbers. Mm-hmm. And on PC. This game is not doing well in terms of player base. Yeah. It's really low.
Yeah. Okay. Well, next up, we're going to be talking about the big Japanese gaming companies and them having to rethink their strategy moving forward. So we're going to get to that right after this. So stay tuned. All right, so Japanese video game giants plan pivots. So this is from Axios. So I want to read some of this because it's really interesting. I saw this today. and I want to discuss it with you, Burley. So this is from Stephen Totillo over at Axios. So basically, in reports to investors over the past 2 weeks, keepers of Final Fantasy, Sonic, and Castlevania have made it clear that the status quo is not working well enough. They cite a mix of rising development costs and a need to find financially prudent ways to create global hits. The boldest moves are underway at Square Enix, where the publisher is courting outside investors for its development teams, potentially leading to a day when external firms have a stake in the creation of the next Kingdom Hearts or Final Fantasy. And we've seen recently, they basically dumped, for example, the Deus Ex, as well as Tomb Raider, because of those things. So, what that means for how projects are greenlit and budgeted is unclear, but it'd be an unprecedented approach for a big game publisher. Square Enix's old model of fully owning studios has, quote, begun to produce side effects of a scale that we cannot ignore, end quote, company president Matsuda Yosuke said in the company's recently released annual report, citing swelling costs. And that's one of the main catalysts for them getting rid of, Square Enix and Tomb Raider, and of course, Deus Ex. So the company's risk avoidance explains its decision earlier this year, like I just said, to sell most of its Western studios and franchises. And Square Enix is also pushing hard into blockchain gaming, Burley. Blockchain.
Yeah, see, this is where the real problem is. They invested so much money in all this stuff, in the blockchain, NFTs and everything. And when they didn't make them the money, and they lost hundreds of millions, it's like, that's the problem. You do stupid stuff like this, and then the problem is all these companies chase live service. They chase live service with Marvel's Avengers, Babylon's Fall. I know there's like another one or two of them that I can't remember off the top of my head. It's like, that's what's killing them, and not putting out good products at launch. Like some of these games that come out, they're not in a great state at launch. That's what hurts. Put out a good game. If you put out a good game, even if you don't get as much buzz at first, when people play it, people will make it known. Hey, Final Fantasy 16, it's a return to form. It plays so well, no bugs, no glitches. You gotta play it if you're a Final Fantasy fan. Even if you're not, this is a perfect entry to jump in, and you get stuff like that will happen, and people will listen.
Well, going back to speaking about the blockchain gaming and of course the NFTs.
Oh, good morning, Dark Fairy. We have Dark Fairy in the chat. Sorry.
Hey, Dark Fairy. Thank you so much for joining. Yes. So in a presentation to investors on Monday, it promoted its newly announced interactive NFT art project, Symbiogenesis, and new investments in a blockchain payment platform, a blockchain medieval strategy game, and a collectible NFT trading card game. So that's Square Enix. Now let's move on to Sega. Sega's big swing will be a, quote, super game, end quote. A mysterious project promised by the end of March 2026. The company wants to create a game so revolutionary that it attracts far more active users than any of the group's games to date, end quote. Sega president Haruki Satomi said in a recent note to stockholders, projecting lifetime sales at 100 billion or $683 million US dollars. So 100 billion yen in Japanese money. So this comes amid a concern that the company's, quote, profit margins are still relatively low vis-a-vis the competition, end quote, as noted by co-COO Utsumi Shuji. So a super game, Burley. Yeah,
well, Sega could use a hit. Like, the thing is Sega has been, let's be honest, they've been surviving because of Atlas and the Yakuza franchise. Because Sonic has not done well for them over the last 15 years or whatever.
Well, and of course the Persona games with Atlas.
Persona and Atlas's other games have really helped them. Persona 5 made them a ton of money.
And Judgment.
So the
and
Yakuza Judgment series, those have really helped.
Yep.
That's what's keeping Sega afloat. Sega is like, the problem is like Sega's in such a weird spot of they have so many franchises that are dormant that they can go back to, or they could try a new IP and just try something. But the problem is I love Sonic, but they just push Sonic and put him into whatever gameplay style.
Yeah.
And just try and see, because it's Sonic, at least it'll sell some copies instead of taking the chance and, let's make something from the ground up with a character that this would work with, instead of trying to throw one of the other franchises into something.
Yeah. So, and of course, Yakuza, of course, early next year, we're getting a slew of, Yakuza games. Of course, Ishin Kiwami is coming in February. So, that's a game that's been out here in Asia for the longest time, and now it's finally coming to the West. So people are going to be able to enjoy that finally for the first time. So, good stuff.
That stuff I'm looking forward to. But you know what?
Yeah.
One of these things these developers these big companies haven't realized.
Mm-hmm.
You don't need to make giant games. You can make small digital download titles for budget prices that will sell. One of the best examples is Sonic Mania. Sonic Mania did gangbusters. It was a great price, and it was just a small short experience, but people kept going back and replaying. That's what you need to do with, like, Square can do that. So many other of these companies could be doing this. Small downloads for a budget price, people will buy them.
Well, let's move on. So let's move on to Konami, which has pivoted away from making sequels to globally popular franchises in favor of a focus on Japan, is now getting back to its old ways a bit with recent plans for a slate of new Silent Hill games. So, of course, we got the Silent Hill remasters, of course, that were announced. But basically, the problem here in Japan is that the market is stagnating here in Japan. And so they've been looking for growth in the mobile market. But the problem is China is catching up and overtaking the mobile market here in Japan.
Okay.
And so that's the main reason why they're trying to shift their focus back to the console market. But Capcom, on the other hand, is doing pretty well, actually. So obviously, Capcom, they have the Resident Evil games, they have the Monster Hunter games that are primarily on console, obviously. So they're doing okay. So they're not seeming to have a pivot strategy at the moment. So
Capcom right now, they're in I would probably say like a little renaissance, because Resident Evil's doing well for them. Monster Hunter has been printing money for them for years, and they have their collections, and we are on the eve of a new Street Fighter. So Capcom's doing, as much as I hate saying it, Capcom is doing well. They have found what's working. But the thing is like, how much longer is this going to last with Resident Evil? Because like you're remaking 4. This is like playing roulette, because this either goes really, really well or this really goes bad. There's going to be no in between on that, I think. And one thing I want to mention too, and just in the chat, Fubu, thanks for coming in. Really appreciate it. So thanks for being here today again, man. The thing is, here in Japan, when I was talking about the mobile market and China overtaking Japan, one instance of that was this year's Tokyo Game Show. More Chinese mobile developers were at the presentation this year than Japanese mobile. Wow.
And that was pretty shocking. So I mean, you have first of all, with the console market and the PC market, you have Tencent, and now you have tons of small indie developed Chinese developers, coming into the mobile market and breaking into the Japanese market. And it's big, so the Japanese are very worried about that, in a sense. And you even have some Japanese developers actually joining some Chinese firms. to do game development. So yeah, I mean, we'll see how things turn out, but it'll be interesting to see like Sega, Konami, Square Enix focusing more on the console market again, so instead of trying to pivot to mobile, I should say. So all right, so it's time for the topic of the show. We're going to be talking Overwatch 2, obviously. Overwatch 2 had a pretty rocky start, but it's picking up some steam. We're going to talk about that right after this, so stay tuned. All right, Burley, we have something in the chat, yeah? So, Dark Fairy saying hi to Fubu. Okay.
Fubu.
Yeah. Hi to all of you out there. Yeah. And let us know in the comments what you think about Japanese gaming in general when it comes to like Sega, Konami, Square Enix. Which games do you like the most? And do you think it's better for them to try to shift back to the console market rather than focus more on mobile gaming? Let us know in the comments what you think. So Overwatch 2 has reached over 25 million players in its first 10 days, Burley. 35 million in its first month. So obviously we had that rocky start with Overwatch 2. We had all those DDoS attacks and all that stuff. We had people waiting hours and hours on end in the queue to try to get into matches.
And not to mention people that were going from Overwatch 1, if you were on a prepaid phone, you couldn't play the game because of the multi-factor, because it wouldn't do the text back for you to hit yes.
Yeah.
So
anyway, this is I'm gonna go ahead and show you the link for this story. So Overwatch 2 and of course the numbers, and I'm going to read a little bit of it for you here. Blizzard has confirmed that over 35 million people have played Overwatch 2 in the first month, including, quote, many who were new, end quote, to the franchise. Yeah, actually, some of my students were mentioning that to me today, that they're playing Overwatch 2 now. So, and they were playing Fortnite. So, quote, the expanded community is engaging deeply with average daily player numbers for the first month of Overwatch 2, more than double that of its acclaimed predecessor, end quote. Activision wrote in the Activision Blizzard third quarter 2022 financial results, quote, player investment is also off to a strong start, positioning the title to be a meaningful contributor to Blizzard's business in the fourth quarter, end quote. So, yeah, I mean, I think this is going to be, very successful moving forward, especially with all the new players that are coming in. And, and of course, Kiriko-chan there, some of the new characters that they're coming out with. So, yeah. What do you think, Burley?
Yeah, no, it's definitely going to be successful. But how long is it going to stay successful? And because remember, this has now gone free to play. Like Overwatch 1 popularized loot boxes. This one, you're having to grind. They've shown how long you have to grind to get stuff, and it's like this is the standard thing with Blizzard. To get what you want, you have to play so much just to get the basics of all this stuff, and it's like, I'm tired of that. So they're doing so little payout for winning matches and your challenges and all that. They want you to basically, they're just pushing you to be like, give us $10 so that way you can get that skin or charm. But it's like, we got a few things in the chat.
Yeah, go for it, man.
From Dark Fairy, I wanted to play it as a healer, but playing with other people I don't do well with. Fair enough. Like, I've never played Overwatch. I've been tempted to try Overwatch 2, but I have no time.
Well, they have talked about soon there will be the player versus engine mode coming out. And I think that's what a lot of people are waiting for. A lot of people are looking forward to playing the player versus engine mode on Overwatch. But
Fubu woke up a little bit sleepy, but yeah, I hear you on that, man.
Yeah. I mean, I really want to play Overwatch 2. I played Overwatch 1 for a while, the first Overwatch, and I'm looking forward to it. But with so much coming out, God of War Ragnarok, like I said, I'm going to be starting that probably from tomorrow, because it's getting late already here in Japan. So, and later on, I have to watch Andor for, of course, our breakdown and discussion episode that we're going to be doing on the Arena Productions YouTube channel, obviously. So, yeah, but yeah, I do want to get to Overwatch 2. And the cool thing about it is that it's a free download now, but because I remember when Overwatch, the original Overwatch came out, you had to pay for it.
Yeah.
So and it'll be interesting to see when Microsoft eventually does, get Blizzard, when the deal goes through. I mean, what are they going to do with Overwatch, Burley? What do you think?
Oh, before I answer that, we got a few. So,
yeah,
we got a few things here in chat.
Okay.
Boo boo, Overwatch never appealed to me. Yeah, I get that. See, it looked interesting, but never enough to draw me in. I just want to try it now that's free to play.
Yeah.
Dark Fairy, what do you mean about people waiting for it to come? There's going to be a mode where basically
player versus engine. Yeah. So, I mean, right now it's only the player versus player mode that's out, but the player versus like the computer generated engine, that's what a lot of people are waiting for from the news sources. So they're looking forward to that, and then they're going to jump in and start playing. So yeah, because a lot of these multiplayer games, like Call of Duty, stuff like that, and like Halo and stuff, they have your player versus player, and then you have your player versus engine modes, like in Destiny, for example.
Player versus bots.
Exactly, yeah. Player versus bots. Yeah.
Yeah. Dark Fairy's like, oh wow, really? Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah, but I mean, that's the thing about. Go ahead, brother.
I could still see this game being successful, but it's just how much you really, because now you're going free to play, you really got to keep up with the content. And and there is big competition. Like when Overwatch 1 launched, there wasn't as much competition in this kind of market. Now there's so much. We got Apex, you got Fortnite.
Yeah,
you got Warzone 2
and
coming.
It won Game of the Year at the Game Awards in 2016. Overwatch.
Yeah.
So yeah, I mean,
Overwatch 2 ain't gonna win Game of the Year.
No, of course not.
No. Like we have a little thing on our Twitter for what do you think's gonna win? God of War Ragnarok or Elden Ring?
Elden Ring, yes, yeah. So and on the community here on the Arena Production. So please vote in the community. Go to the community tab and scroll down. You'll see the poll. Yeah. So basically, I said of the two games that will most definitely be nominated at the Game Awards, they will be those God of War Ragnarok and Elden Ring. Of those two games will most definitely be nominated. So of those two games, which one would you pick? Would it be God of War Ragnarok or Elden Ring? So you might have another game that you want to be Game of the Year, but the poll is basically of those two games that will most definitely be nominated. Which ones would you choose? Which of the two? So yeah, we got the poll on Twitter, and we also have it on our, of course, on the community tab. Go to the community tab over here on the Arena Productions for all of you, and vote. Yeah. So yeah.
And Dark Fairy says that's awesome. Can't wait for the PvE.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, it should be fun. I think that's probably when I'm gonna start playing it. So, and Kiriko-chan here, yeah, she's got the cool little shuriken, the shurikens there, yeah. So.
Shurikens, kunai, yeah.
Kunai, yeah. So good stuff, yeah. But like you were saying, Burley, I mean, there's so much competition now. You've got Overwatch now. You've got Overwatch, but then, of course, you still have Apex, which is still big. Call of Duty Warzone 2.0 is coming out really soon. That's going to be big, of course. And then, of course, on the PC side, you've got Valorant. Valorant still has a big player base.
Yeah,
at the moment. Yeah,
yeah. Like even though it's not the exact same thing, League is still popular.
League of
Like,
Legends. Yeah.
there's so many in these free to play games like this. There's so many.
Yeah. And the
It's
league is big too. I mean, there's a lot of people that compete in the leagues, as well. So,
well, this game will always be big because of esports and all that. I'm just curious to see where is it going to, in 6 months from now to a year, with how are they going to do with the content drops? Is it going to be enough for people to want to stay?
Yeah.
People realizing with how much you have to grind.
Yeah. Because there is a lot of grinding involved. So, yeah. So I think that's going to do it for this edition of the morning show. Obviously, as we talked about at the beginning of the show, we're getting an Indie World Showcase that's coming at noon Eastern time. So stay tuned for that, 9 a.m. Pacific. And we're going to be covering that tomorrow on the morning show. So all of the news from the Indie World Showcase. Yeah, we're going to be talking about the games that they showed off and everything. So we hope you can come and join us for that tomorrow morning, when we do the morning show. So, and then if you wake up late, as some of you may do, obviously, I will be editing this after we've finished recording, and I will put it in the playlist for the Arena Morning Show. So you can check it out there as well. So either in the live tab or in the playlist. So you can check it out. Yeah. So good stuff. Happy God of War Ragnarok Day. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
We got a few things in chat here. Fu was saying I used to be okay in League, but as I got older, I stopped having time for 45-minute matches. Totally understand, man. Dark Fairy had voted. Great, thank you for the vote, Dark Fairy.
Yep, thank you.
Fubu guilty of waking up late. Hey, it happens. Dark Fairy, no worries. I did that too. We all do it. So it's all good.
Yeah. Well, just think. I mean, out here in Japan, I'm 17 hours ahead of, or 14 hours ahead of you guys on the East Coast. 17 hours ahead of you guys on the West Coast. So yeah, I mean, I'm basically a day ahead, and basically I'm doing the show here with Burley in the evening my time. So technically it's an evening show for me, but it's a morning show for all of you out there. But sometimes I wake up late too.
No, it happens to us all.
Yep, happens to us all, man. Happens to us all. Yeah, especially on days that we don't have to work or we're off or something like that. Yeah, we get to sleep in. Yeah, but all right. So just some other programming notes. Of course, Andor episode 10 is now out in the wild. And of course, we're going to be doing our, discussion and breakdown of episode 10 this weekend on the Arena Productions YouTube channel. And of course, this coming weekend, we do episode 111 of the Arena, a multi-platform gaming news podcast. And we got a surprise for everybody in that episode because we're going to be talking about sales forecasts for the holiday season. So stay tuned for that. We're going to be talking about console sales and all, what we think is probably going to sell the best during the holiday season 2022. So stay tuned for that. Exciting times. We're getting close to the end of the year, Burley. And of course, we got the Game Awards next month. We're going to be, gearing up for that. And hopefully, if time allows, we'll be able to bring it to you live, and we'll be able to do live reactions to the Game Awards and stuff like that. So, yeah, we shall see. So we're looking forward to that. Burley, any last thoughts? Any last words you want to say before we sign out?
Well, first of all, thank you for all the everyone here watching live or watching in the future when this posts up on YouTube. We'll be having some reviews we're going to be recording in the near future coming, so please do stay make sure you're followed or subscribed here on YouTube. Make sure subscribe and click that notification bell so you know when we do not only go live with this, but when our new videos come.
That's right. Click that notification bell, yes. Yeah, and obviously we also have a super chat, and of course, so if there is a particular story that you would like us to discuss during our morning shows, and you really, really want us to discuss it, obviously you can help us out and support the channel by by sending us a super chat or a super thanks. Yeah, it would really help us out. We would really appreciate it. And of course, it would make our content better for all of you. So think about that as well. So, all right. So that's going to do it for us on the Wednesday edition of the morning show. I've been your host, Expat, along with my co-host, Burley of Burleman Gaming. We hope to catch you tomorrow. So thank you, everybody that joined. Yes. So, of course, Fubu, thank you so much for joining. Yeah. And Dark Fairy. Yes. Thank you so much for joining as well. And everybody that comes and watches later on. Thank you so much. And we appreciate all your support. All right. So we hope to catch you tomorrow. And of course, we're going to be talking about the Nintendo Indie World Showcase tomorrow. So stay tuned for that. So until then, take care, everyone. Peace out.
Bye, everyone.